I always imagined my wedding night would feel like stepping into a dream, soft, glowing, wrapped in warmth and new beginnings. And for a while, it did. The lights, the flowers, the laughter, everything felt like it was carrying me into the life I had prayed for. When my husband, Ian, held my hand during the ceremony, I truly believed I had married a man who adored me as much as I adored him. Maybe that's why I felt bold enough to play a silly prank on him that night. I wanted to start our life with laughter, to surprise him, to see that smile he always gave me when I did something unexpected. So when we finally stepped into our wedding suite, the room glowing with cream, colored candles, rose petals scattered on the floor, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. "Ian, give me 1 minute," I said, pretending to fix my dress. "I'll join you soon." He smiled, kissed my forehead, and left for a moment to take a call. That gave me the perfect chance. I tiptoed to the bed, lifted the long, heavy sheet, and slid underneath. I bit my lip, trying not to giggle. I imagined him coming in, calling my name, looking confused, and then me jumping out. I never imagined the moment would turn into a memory that stabbed me for months afterward. The door clicked open. My heart raced. "He's here," I thought, hiding my grin with my hands. But the footsteps weren't his. They were lighter, heels tapping softly on the floor. I frowned. Who would come to our private suite? Then a woman's voice broke through the room. "Okay, I'm inside," she whispered. "Put it on speaker." My smile vanished. I froze. I knew that voice. I couldn't mistake it even if I tried. It was Rita, my husband's ex. The woman he promised he had cut ties with long ago. The woman he told me was nothing but a closed chapter. I pressed a hand over my mouth, my heart thudding painfully. A soft beep echoed. She had put the phone on speaker. And then, his voice, Ian's voice. "Did she leave?" he asked casually, as if this was normal, as if this was planned. "No," Rita giggled. "I'm in your room. Your wedding room. Can you believe it?" My blood turned to ice. "Good," he replied. "Take a picture of the bed. I want to see where she'll be sleeping tonight. Poor girl has no idea what's coming." A poor girl, he meant me. My breath hitched. The mattress above my head suddenly felt heavier, pressing down on my chest. Rita whispered. "She won't," Ian said. "I told you. We keep this going until I get what I need. After that, she'll be out. Just stay quiet." I felt the edges of my world crumble. Everything, the vows, his promises, his soft looks, felt like fragile glass shattering inside my chest. Rita walked around the room while they talked, laughing softly, mocking me without even knowing I was inches away from her feet. She took pictures. She sat on the bed above me. Her perfume hit me like poison, and I stayed still, completely still. Minutes later, she left, still talking to him, still discussing me as if I were nothing but a pawn in whatever twisted game they were playing. The door shut behind her. I didn't come out from under the bed right away. I couldn't. I was too numb, too broken, too shocked to even cry. On my wedding night, the night I wanted to begin a new chapter, I discovered that the entire book of my marriage was already a lie, and I had only read the first page. I don't know how long I stayed motionless under that bed. Maybe minutes, maybe an hour. Time stopped meaning anything. All I could hear, echoing in my head like a cruel chant, was his voice, my husband's voice, promising another woman that I was nothing, that my entire marriage was a lie. Eventually, the door opened again. Soft footsteps walked in. This time they were familiar, steady, strong, the sound of the man I had married only a few hours earlier, Ian, my husband. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Part of me feared he knew I was under the bed. Another part hoped he would say something, anything, that might soften the knife he had plunged into my heart. But he didn't. He hummed to himself as he moved around the room. He even laughed softly. Laughing, my body trembled. The idea that he could smile after plotting such deceit made my stomach twist painfully. He changed, washed up, and left again. Maybe to meet her, maybe to brag about how blind I was. When the room finally fell silent, I crawled out from under the bed slowly, my limbs stiff, my hands shaking. I grabbed the edge of the dresser to steady myself. In the mirror, I didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. My eyes were swollen, my makeup smudged. My wedding dress crumpled. I looked like someone who had survived a storm, except this storm had been carefully prepared by the two people who should have had no place in my life together. I sat on the bed, the same bed she had sat on minutes earlier, and my mind replayed everything I heard, her voice, her giggles, her familiarity with my husband's room, my husband's bed, and the worst of all, her confidence. She wasn't scared. She wasn't worried I'd find out. She knew exactly where she stood in Ian's life. She sounded like someone who had done this before, someone who had been here many times. The realization crushed me. Rita wasn't just a lingering memory of his past. She was a part of his present. A deep, tangled part he had never really cut ties with. Ian had told me they were over long ago. He told me she was obsessive, dramatic, unwilling to move on. He said he only felt pity for her. But pity doesn't sound like that. Pity doesn't say, "I want to see where she'll be sleeping tonight." Pity doesn't ask someone to take a picture of their marriage bed. No, this was something else. Something uglier, deeper, and more deliberate. The more I thought about it, the more the pieces of his behavior started fitting together like a horrifying puzzle. The sudden nights he disappeared, for work. The secretive texts he would quickly swipe away. The arguments he had dismissed as nothing. The way he rushed the wedding more than I did. My chest tightened. Had he married me for something? Money, status, family pressure, a benefit I didn't even know existed. Whatever it was, his intentions were not love. They were calculated. I wiped the tears that kept falling uncontrollably. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to collapse. But I didn't. Something inside me, something small but fierce, kept whispering, "Not now, not here, not yet." So I took a deep breath, I stood up, and for the first time that night I made a decision. I would pretend. Pretend I didn't hear anything. Pretend I believed in him. Pretend I was the soft, trusting bride he thought I was. Because now, he would be the one to underestimate me. As I fixed my dress and reapplied my lipstick with trembling hands, I felt something shift in me. The innocence of earlier had died under that bed, and from its ashes, something sharper was rising. If Ian and Rita thought I was an easy target, they were about to learn who I truly was. When Ian returned to the room, I was sitting on the edge of the bed, my hands folded neatly in my lap, my expression calm, even soft. He looked momentarily surprised, as if he expected to find me upset for some reason. But I forced a smile, the kind I had worn earlier that day, before everything shattered. "There you are," he said, walking toward me with an ease that made my stomach churn. "I thought you fell asleep." I tilted my head slightly. "Just resting," I replied. "It's been a long day." The lie slid out effortlessly. If he could lie so beautifully, then so could I. He kissed my forehead, completely unaware that the woman he had sworn vows to only hours ago was not the same woman looking back at him now. Something inside me had shifted. The innocence, the trust, the blind love gone. In its place was a new version of me, one that observed, one that analyzed, one that planned. For the next several days, I let him believe I was the same Naderva bride he had married. I cooked for him, smiled at him, listened to him. But behind those smiles, my mind was working nonstop. I watched him closely. I memorized his schedule, his calls, his expressions, his excuses. He thought I was soft, too soft to ever look beneath the surface. But I did, and every day, I discovered more cracks in his perfect act. The late-night messages, the urgent work trips, the sudden showers after returning home, the phone he never left unattended. All of it confirmed what I already knew. He wasn't just cheating. He was using me for something. And I was determined to find out what. One afternoon, when he left in a rush, I finally gathered the courage to check his study. I felt guilty for a moment. Invading privacy was something I once believed only people with broken marriages did. But mine was broken. I just hadn't admitted it yet. The study was neat, almost too neat. But inside one of his drawers, beneath a stack of unimportant documents, I found a file. A legal one. My name was on the cover. My heart pounded as I opened it. It was full of financial statements, mine, not his. Property documents titled in my father's name, but listed as future marital assets. A business partnership agreement draft, and at the end, a notarized sheet, blank, waiting for my signature. Ian was planning something big, something that required my legal approval. Suddenly, the rushed wedding made sense. The pressure he had put on me to officially join our families financially, the way he emphasized trust, love, sharing. He didn't want a wife. He wanted a doorway, a key, a tool to access things that didn't belong to him. The realization didn't break me. It awakened me. I took photos of every page, every document. I emailed copies to myself, saved them in a cloud folder he could never access, and hid the file exactly where I found it. From that moment on, every conversation we had became a chess move. Every smile I gave him hid a plan. Every gentle word masked the storm brewing inside me. I started gathering evidence, not just of his betrayal with Rita but of their motives, screenshots, call logs, bank statements, every secret message I managed to capture. I didn't let anger cloud me. I needed clarity, accuracy, timing. Revenge wasn't about screaming or crying. Revenge was about ending his game using his own pieces. And while he slept peacefully beside me every night, believing I was blind, I stayed awake, my eyes wide open, planning exactly how I would destroy everything he had built on my name. He thought he had chosen the perfect victim. He had no idea he had married his biggest mistake. Revenge isn't a sudden flame, it's a slow burn, quiet, steady, patient. And for weeks that fire grew inside me, feeding on every lie Ian told, every fake smile he wore, and every message he secretly sent to Rita while I pretended to sleep beside him. He thought he was winning. He thought he was smarter. He thought I was still the girl who hid under the bed to surprise him. He never realized that the moment I crawled out from that dark space, I left my innocence behind and stepped into a role he had never prepared for. I waited for the perfect time, the perfect stage, and the perfect audience. And fate handed it to me. The family dinner. Ian announced it casually one morning. "My parents want to welcome you properly," he said, wrapping an arm around me. "They want Rita there too. She's family to us, after all." His words stabbed me, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I smiled sweetly and said, "That sounds lovely." Inside, I whispered, "Tonight, Ian, tonight your world ends." The dinner was arranged at his family's farmhouse, a grand, elegant space filled with chandeliers and portraits of ancestors who would probably faint if they knew what their golden son truly was. Everyone gathered around the long dining table, Ian's parents, his uncles, cousins, and then she walked in, Rita, wearing a smug smile, wearing confidence like perfume, wearing the victory she believed was already hers. Ian's expression softened when he saw her. Mine hardened. I waited until everyone was settled. I waited until the food was served. I waited until Ian placed his hand on mine in front of everyone, pretending to be a loving husband. Then I gently pulled my hand away, stood up, and cleared my throat. "I want to share something," I began softly. Everyone turned to me with polite curiosity. Ian smiled confidently. He probably thought I was going to thank the family. Instead, I took my phone and connected it to the speakers. The audio file I had saved played instantly. Ian's voice, Rita's giggles, the conversation from our wedding night. Word for word, line by line, cruelty echoing through the hall like thunder. Gasps filled the room. Forks clattered. His mother covered her mouth. His father stood up so fast the chair nearly fell over. Ian's face turned white. Rita froze in her seat. I kept my expression calm, almost gentle, as if this was simply another item on the dinner menu. When the recording ended, I placed my phone down slowly. "This," I said quietly, "was my wedding night." Silence swallowed the room. Then his father exploded. "What is this filth?" His mother began crying, and Uncle started shouting. Ian stumbled toward me. "Let me explain." I held up a hand. "No, you had your chance to speak. Now it's my turn." I turned to his parents and revealed everything I had gathered. The documents, the schemes, the financial motives, the blank notarized form he planned to make me sign. Every word hit them like a hammer. Then finally I looked at him. "You married me for access. You loved her. You used me. But you forgot one thing, Ian. Smart men hide their plans better." His jaw clenched, his eyes filling with panic. For the first time, I was the one in control. Inside the same hall where his family had once proudly introduced him as their future, they now watched him fall apart. His mother whispered, "I can't believe this." His father said, "You have destroyed our family name." And Rita, she slipped out of the room, humiliated. Perfect. I took a deep breath and announced my final words. "I'm leaving this marriage tonight, and I'm taking back every piece of dignity you tried to steal." I walked out with my head high, my heart steady, my spirit free. Behind me, Ian's world crumbled exactly as he once planned mine to. That was my sweet revenge, and it tasted better than anything I had dreamed.